For the British, football and cricket are over. They can't win at those sports, but with 2 out of 2 heats won so far for the defending champions, is poker the game to restore national pride? Or will defeat be snatched from the jaws of victory? Let's find out as we enter Heat 3, PartyPoker, Poker Nations Cup. Choosing for Denmark, its captain, Theo Jørgensen.
For this heat, I picked Mats. Mats is playing this heat, and he's definitely one of our strongest team members. Very much live experience, so I'm extremely confident he's going to do very well.
Representing Great Britain, John Kabbaj.
Today we're picking John Kabbaj because, you know, John's a great poker player, he's a very solid player, and, you know, we're trying to get some points together. I'm pretty certain John's going to be in the last couple, you know, if we don't win it. So go do it, John.
For Sweden, it's Mats Ram.
Mats is a very experienced player. He won a bracelet this summer, beating more than 2,000 players in the World Series. He also has made a living playing sit-and-go tables online, so he's very experienced playing this kind of tournaments.
The German decision lies with their captain, Michael Keiner.
For Heat 3, I've chosen Simon Münz from Germany because he might be the dark horse, but I guess and I bet he will be a big surprise for the rest.
To make the selection for Holland, here's their captain, Marcel Lusk.
Today we're going to put in Tim Morderman. He's playing for the Dutch team, and my expectations are that he needs to go into the deep, play with the big guys, and I hope the best, and I think he will do very fine.
For the United States, celebrity guest, Jennifer Tilly.
I picked Jennifer Tilly to play today. She's had a chance to watch a few matches now. She tells me she's ready to play, so I put Jen in. Go Tilly.
Heat 3 begins, and it's a massive lead for the British right at the top of the leaderboard. I'm joined by British yet neutral co-commentator Barney Boatman.
Yes, Vicky, good evening. Don't expect me to be neutral if anyone from Hendon turns up at the table.
Well, not tonight. John Kabbaj is representing the British, and with that big chip lead, you know, it's got to be good for confidence.
Of course, it's a fantastic start. Well, Jennifer Tilly coming in with a nice, aggressive play.
Call. Pass.
She's unfortunate, Jennifer Tilly, to have perhaps the 2 strongest players at the table apart from her to her left.
2 players.
Well, that's a very nice flop, isn't it, for John Kabbaj?
400.
But I like this follow-through bet.
Call.
Yeah, I think if Kabbaj doesn't make his straight, then Tilly will be able to take it off him.
Check.
Of course, the last thing she wants is the king, Vicky.
I love this. She's betting again.
This is great play. You're seeing immediately why she's a World Series bracelet winner. She's raised before the flop with no hand. She's bet the flop. She's followed through. And John Kabbaj, because he's got that straight draw, he carries on calling. Will she be able to fire the 3rd bullet, Vicky?
Oh, there is the straight for John Kabbaj of Great Britain.
She knows it's a danger card.
600.
I'm sure she'll give this up, Vicky. But she's been most unfortunate. She played very well. I'm sure she'll figure this one out.
Yeah, I mean, Tilly's only got king high. She's not going to call. She could have raised, but she's passing just the right thing. She played that fantastically well, I think, kept following through and gave up when she could no longer win the pot. Early chip gathering for the defending champions and leaderboard winners at the moment, Great Britain. How do you play this game? Don't ask me. Here's Barney.
Each player receives 2 cards face down from the dealer. The 2 players to the immediate left of the dealer post 2 compulsory bets. which are known as the blinds. Play then proceeds in a clockwise direction, with each player having to make a betting decision. They can call, match the current bet, or raise, put more money into the pot, or they can fold, throw their cards away. Once this round of betting is over, the dealer reveals the flop, 3 community cards dealt in the middle of the table. More betting follows. Then comes the 4th card, the turn card, and the 5th card, known as the river. Players must make the best 5-card poker hand using the 7 cards available. Once the betting is over, the players reveal their cards, and the player with the best hand wins the pot.
6 countries, 6 players on each team. Each one of those plays in a heat, trying to accrue important points to take through to the final. $100,000 in prize money goes with first place. But the most important thing, of course, the international bragging rights and the trophy.
This time Jennifer Tilly opting just to call with a small pair. Don't know if it's because she's lost a couple of hands already or because that's the way you play small pair from early.
Check. 200.
Well, this is great. She's saying, I'm the one that limped from early, I'm the one that's supposed to have a hand. If you've got an ace, let's find out now. She's kept her nerve very well.
When I became professional, that's when I met Phil, my boyfriend, and he taught me some of the finer points of poker. If you're ever out to dinner with me and Phil and some of his friends, they always, sometime during the meal, somebody goes, "Hey Phil, who has the gold bracelet in your family?" You know, he gets it like 20 times a day, and he's such a good sport. They go, "Hey, how come your girl has a gold bracelet and you don't?" He's like, yeah.
Welcome back. $100,000 available to the winning team in the final of this tournament, but that cup and national pride are really more important to these players.
Mads Andersen, first position with a suited ace. One of the great chip gatherers, Mads Andersen. Munt's probably just going to have a look here, yes. Calling behind the razor with a small pair at this stage, not such a bad strategy, and plenty of value for Tilly to come in with her small pair.
Simon Muntz is Germany's online player.
Oh, Vicky, look at this flop. Top 2 pair for Andersen and a set for Muntz. This spells huge danger for the Danish player.
500.
How much to fill the pot? 375 times 3.
275.
275, sorry. Plus the small blind.
Well, this is an acting performance by Muntz. Do you think he's just going to try and call it here and try and induce another bet? He doesn't know how strong Andersen is. He probably figures Andersen's got a biggish ace.
Raise to 1,500.
Just wants to make sure he's not going to give any cheap flush draws and see if he can reel Andersen in to build a huge pot.
I can see Andersen going broke in this pot, Vicky.
Mads Andersen, one of Denmark's strongest players.
I'm all in.
Raise all in.
All in, says Andersen.
Yeah, well, this was a complete act by Andersen to try and disguise the strength of his hand. He's convinced he's in front.
Yeah, I have to call.
What a horrible situation for Mads Andersen of Denmark. We have just sat down to play. He's hit the flop hard, and short of an ace or an 8 coming down, he's walking straight out again.
So Denmark is all in with ace 8, 2 pairs, aces and 8s, and
only an ace or an 8 can save Denmark.
6 of spades gives a couple more outs to Denmark. Denmark needs
Flush
a spade.
draw now.
Ace or 8.
Well, that would be terrible for Germany, who are at the bottom of the leaderboard. But it's safe, and Mads Andersen from Denmark taking a very early bath, while Germany must be triumphant.
I don't think I could have done much. You could say I shouldn't have played ace-8 of spades, but when I hit the top 2 on the flop, I don't see how I can get away from it. Anything can happen, and I hope my teammates do better than me. It's hard for them not to.
Already we are 5-handed in the Poker Nations Cup. What a shock exit.
Yeah, and John Kabbaj lost his good friend Mads Andersen, but he won't be too disappointed about that because he knows he was a very dangerous opponent.
Simon Muntz is, of course, the online player on the German team. America weren't able to bring an online specialist, as online poker is rather against the law. So they have brought a celebrity guest instead, Hollywood actress Jennifer Tilly. But not just a celebrity, Barney.
No, she's one of the royal family of American poker, the Posh and Becks of poker, alongside Phil Lack, and she's also a great player. Oh, and she's been so unfortunate today, Vicky. Every time she's got a hand, somebody else has got something to strangle her, and she's already gone so low. Will she make another great decision and put this one down?
Well, she may feel that John Kabbaj of Britain is bullying her. She's low on chips. Her moves haven't been getting through, but she has to think, would Kabbaj move so early without a big hand?
Raised to 2,400.
Well, it's dangerous. Tilly has nearly committed all her chips to this pot. Can he give it up?
Not easy.
Raise all in.
Yeah, Kabbaj has re-raised all in, and Tilly looking at a pot of over $9,000, or passing and keeping just $875. What a horrible decision.
So unfortunate for her. She's just been hit from every angle. She's played perfectly to conserve her chips, but this time she just has to put a few in from behind.
Well, she knows for absolute certain she's not just behind, she's a long way behind. She knows that America is just one off the bottom in the points at the moment with just 6 points. She knows they're watching in the green room. Her boyfriend and fellow player Phil Luck, her captain Robert Williamson, she's had to make the call, and actually she is just about priced in to hit a jack.
In the end, she knew she had to do it. Awful situation to find herself in so early in this tournament, but it was the right call. And really, the Americans, they deserve their bit of luck now as well, Vicky.
Yeah, there will be a lot of American voices shouting for a jack in that green room. No help on the flop.
King in front. Let's see the turn.
If a 4 comes down, it'll be a split pot, but no. And a second shock early exit after Denmark were eliminated just a couple of hands later. America's gone. And what a shame to lose the glamour of Jennifer Tilly, as well as the might of America, who are just having a terrible run in this tournament.
The thing with this team concept is that you just have to kind of squeeze your chips and wait for someone else to go out first so you can get more points. So I feel bad because I think I probably disappointed my teammates, but what can you do? The chips go away very fast, and it would be nice if I went out very nobly like Mads, but I went out very doofusy like Jennifer.
And it has been an explosive night at the Poker Nations Cup. We've lost 2 countries after just 6 hands.
Pass.
The blinds have gone up, 75, 150. The yellow chips are 25, green 100, and blue 500. No, small blinds and big stacks mean a lot of genuine decisions still to be made on the turn and river, and that really suits the players who think they have an edge. Moderman's one of them.
And having raised out of the small blind with 10s, John Kabbaj sensibly just having a look with the smaller pair and position. Well, that's danger for John Kabbaj, Vicky. because he knows if he was in front with the fours before, he's in front still. And I don't think he's going to get away without paying Moderman something here.
Yeah, 2 pair for both players. Moderman in front, of course, with the 10s. But Kabbaj may want to ask a question before he believes that.
It's almost the best flop you can get with a pair of fours without actually flopping a 4, Vicky. Only 1 overcard to John Kabbaj's pair. Yeah, he's raising to find out exactly where he is. This is going to be expensive for him.
Still, it's a classy raise. A lot of players would just call here and hope to not face another bet, but Kabbaj really wants to know, are my 4s good?
Yeah, really the only way to play this. You can't just keep calling.
The long think is certainly a sign of the respect that Moderman feels for his British opponent,
There
but
we
the
go.
all-in, he knows his hand is good, and I can't see Kabbaj paying him off.
No, John Kabbaj asked the question, he got his answer.
37.50 total.
Now is whether or not, with 6,500 in the pot, John Kabbaj is going to talk himself into taking a shot for just under 2,000 more. I don't think he will, Vicky.
No, it would be leaving himself a little short-stacked if he made the call. On the other hand, Moderman began short-stacked. He may feel, if the man had a big ace, he's just taking a stand.
This bet has got overpair written all over it, Vicky. And John Kabbaj, experienced enough to know that. He's looking at the pot odds. He's looking at a chance to go free-handed.
But no, he's made absolutely the right pass.
Everybody played that hand absolutely perfectly. And John Kabbaj knows he's not going to get an easy ride against these 3 less experienced players. But he did what he had to do to find out where he was with those 4s.
That will be good for the confidence of Holland's Tim Moderman. He was at the bottom of the chip ladder, but he's there no longer, and the captain Marcel Lusk will be sending him a little telepathic pat on the back.
Well, I think it's an honor to play for my country. I don't think there's a lot of pressure on me because I'm an online player. I don't have much experience when playing live. So no, I just do my best and have fun. I'm pretty excited, yeah. I'm wearing an orange shirt, so nothing can go wrong.
Dealing at the moment, Reese Thorpe, who deals in Czechoslovakia, but is Welsh. That's the kind of international flavour we like here at the Poker Nations Cup.
Yes, and he arrived disguised as an Austrian, but he's fooling no one.
John Kabbaj, Moroccan-born, French-speaking, but British through and through, raising with King 9.
Pass.
Wow. Muntz is not going to be putting down the King-Queen suited, and this is bad news for John Kabbaj. Although if Muntz just calls, Kabbaj still does have position. Still got a good chance to take it away if they miss. We know he doesn't want to see a king.
Ooh, but that is a big, big flop for Simon Muntz of Germany. Top pair in the flush draw. How is he going to extricate chips?
Expect a trap check here, Vicky.
Check.
And John Kabbaj has dodged the bullet there. He hasn't fallen for it. All John Kabbaj's experience coming into play and keeping this pot cheap.
Well, John Kabbaj would love to hit a jack at no cost. That would give him a straight.
One more check by Muntz may encourage John Kabbaj to try and steal it, Vicky. After all, he is the pre-flop aggressor, but Muntz decides to bet his own hand now.
500. It's 500.
Very cheap. Almost inviting a raise. But John Kabbaj, well... Well, he's fallen for it, Vicky.
1,500.
He was keeping it cheap, but Muntz has really played a bit of a mind game with him here. Made it look like he was trying to steal cheaply. And Muntz doesn't quite know where he is, but he certainly can't put this down.
The problem for Muntz is if he just calls and doesn't catch a heart on the end, what's he going to do if Kabbaj wants to bet all in?
Muntz does have Kabbaj covered in chips, and I think he has to play this one strong. I don't think he was putting that fishy little bet in order to put it down.
And he's just called, and if it comes a blank on the end...
But I think that John Kabbaj may well give it up, Vicky. Let's see. Unless John Kabbaj reads Muntz for a flush draw, and if Muntz checks, John Kabbaj tries to take it.
Kabbaj's problem, of course, is that he can't really make a small bet. For the chips left in front of him, it would really be a bet which almost commits him, if not all in. If Muntz bets first, of course, Kabbaj can get away.
What's Muntz thinking about? Is he considering making a stopper bet? Or is it the check and call scenario? Here's the stopper bet coming.
1,000. It's 1,000.
Yeah, and that, I think, will end it, Vicky.
When you say a stopper bet, Barney, you mean he bets 1,000 because he doesn't want to have to call 3,000?
Exactly so. John Kabbaj now knows that he'd have to raise all in to try and steal this pot. If he reads Muntz for a missed flush draw, he's capable of doing it, but it will cost him everything. And when he's playing for the team, very, very tough to make this move and be wrong. Good pass, John. Dodged a bullet there.
That's a very interesting question, isn't it, Barney, whether Kabbaj alone would have thought, what the hell, let's see if I can get him off the hand. But knowing his teammates are out there watching, his captain is never slow to speak his mind. Is it easier to make the pass? Blinds up to 100, 200. No fear for Simon Muntz of Germany, with over 13,000 in front of him. John Kabbaj of Great Britain, though, is at the bottom of the chip ladder and will really want to win this pot.
450.
Yeah, John Kabbaj, who lists his interests as watching and football. Or is it watching football? Decent favourite here.
2 players.
Oh.
Well, once again, his opponent has hit a big flush draw.
John must bet this. There's only one overcard to his pair. And is Moderman checking to raise? If he does, I think John might read it as a flush draw and take a stand.
21.25.
John has made a small bet. Moderman wants to know how many chips does he have in total. Wants to work out if he can get him off it by raising on the draw. If not, he could just call and try to hit.
It's almost as if Kabbaj has sized his bet in order to entice a move by Moderman. Moderman must be thinking about setting John in here. And I think John really...
He's done it.
Probably a quick call from John.
All in, says the Dutchman. Decision back on John Kabbaj. Hates the idea that his opponent has a jack. Can he put him on the draw?
Well, if he puts this down, he only leaves himself with about 2,000 chips. Was he betting on the flop to ask the question about whether his nines were good?
A call.
Yes.
Good call, John.
Great call.
Great
He
Britain
figured
all in.
it out.
Showdown, please.
John Kabbaj giving himself a great
Holland
chance to
chose
get right
king,
back into
9
this.
of diamonds.
Unless, of course, a diamond or a king comes,
Last
Vicky.
draw.
A diamond or a king
Great
would
Britain
seal the
shows
doom of Great Britain tonight, but
the
any
outcome.
other will mean a double up
Britain in
for
the
John
lead.
Kabbaj.
Turn card. 10 of spades.
That one is safe,
No
although a
change.
queen would now give Moderman a straight.
See the river
So
card.
queen, king or diamond,
It's an 8.
that's safe.
Great Britain double third.
And great relief for John Kabbaj to dodge those bullets and double up.
Good, brave call by John Kabbaj. Well figured out. A classic check raise on the draw, and John Kabbaj read it perfectly, and he's got himself right back into this game for Great Britain.
The internet players, obviously, you know, some of them are making a living out of playing on the internet, so they're no mugs. So I'll just have to treat them like I treat everybody else, you know, a bit of respect, and spend the first hour watching, see what's going on, and try and pick up a few things.
Welcome back to the Party Poker Poker Nations Cup.
No, that's right. It's my fault.
4 Europeans scrabbling to win the points that will help their team take the trophy home.
Raise 600.
Raise to 600.
Well, it's nice that John Kabbaj has finally found something to fight back with. He's had a pretty torrid time for a while.
Well, this is tricky for Moderman. He's only got 2,500 in chips. It's really all in or nothing. He's found an ace. He's moved all in.
Call.
And there's no way Kabbaj is going to pass.
No, of course not.
We could be about to lose our third team. John Kabbaj does have the Dutchman out-chipped. Tournament director Thomas Kremser just counting down to make absolutely sure of that.
Okay, Holland all in with A7. Great Britain shows a pair of checks. 2775, yeah.
Tim Moderman of Holland is going to need to catch an ace.
Up comes deuce, queen, queen.
That's a great flop for Kabbaj.
No help for Holland. Holland needs an ace to stay in the tournament. Let's see the turn. Turn card is a 10.
Only an ace now can keep Holland at this table.
Check on the river.
But it's a full house for Great Britain.
Checks.
You know, Moderman, he played some good, strong poker, Vicky. He made a lot of great stealing moves from the button. He mixed it up a lot, but in the end, he was just out hit there, didn't do anything wrong, and his team should be proud of him.
Well, of course, I'm a bit disappointed to be finishing fourth, but overall, it was great to experience. I learned a lot from it. We haven't got that many points yet, so I hope Marcel Luske or Rob Holland is going to play well in the next game and maybe finish first, so we can compete in the final.
Blinds up to $150 and $300, and an incredible $15,000. More than half the chips in play are in front of Simon Muntz. But it's the Swede, Mats Rahm, who's come out raising.
Yeah, the bracelet holder finding a nice pair on the button. I don't know what Muntz is thinking about here. He never does anything in a hurry. Oh, but we know what John Kabbaj is thinking about, Vicky.
Yeah.
How much to raise.
Fantastic hand for Kabbaj.
All right. All right. 2,000 more.
With only 3 players at the table, Rahm is entitled to be pleased with the medium pair.
Well, he knows it's all in or pass here, really. He can't call a 2,000 raise to give it up for his last 3,000 or so.
Well, what a pass. I mean, the Swedes, known as a very aggressive nation, but Rahm not really living up to that tonight.
Well, I like that pass by Rahm, actually, because he knows he's up against a big hand. He could be even money. He's not going to get Kabbaj off of his hand. Rahm has shown all aspects of his game today to be very strong.
If you added up both stacks of Britain and Sweden, together they would still have less than Germany at this point. Simon Muntz hasn't played the last 3 or 4 hands.
Cool.
Kabbaj hoping to catch a cheap flop with not much of a hand.
Check.
I think Rahm will be happy to give him one of those.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kabbaj has been playing most flops better.
Check.
But he's out of position. This one there for the taking, Vicky.
Check. It's 600.
Difficult decision for John. He's only beating a bluff, but he's going to have one look for sure.
Yeah, 2 pair for John Kabbaj. He's decided not to believe his opponent for an 8 or a queen. But the 10 is a bit of a scare card.
Another bet here, and it's hard for John to see how he's in front. He's not beating a queen or an 8. Got no kicker with his 9. There's a straight out there. He's only beating an out-and-out bluff.
Well, what he knows is that to bet the river, Rahm must have a very big hand or no hand. With the queen, he'd be happy to turn it over, and Kabbaj believes it's a big hand. He thinks he may have made a straight, might have had 3 8s all along. Good play from Rahm.
Great follow-through play by Rahm. Absolutely nothing. We're seeing him take chips, but the high right shouldn't be his.
I think one of my strengths is I'm very adaptable. I can sit down at any table and just play according to the other players. If I get a lot of aggressive players, I can be patient and wait for my hands, and if they're passive, I gear up. So I think that's my strength.
$30,000 worth of chips are on this table. The yellow chips are worth 25, green ones are 100, and the blue chips are worth 500. And half of all the chips in play are in front of this man, Simon Muntz. Look at that, Barney.
Well, look at this. Rahm decided only to limp this time, and that's almost psychic because Rahm had a hand he might well have raised with, and Muntz is behind him with aces.
Well, of course, if Rahm was planning a limp re-raise, he could get himself in a lot of trouble.
That's right. I mean, he's disguising the strength of his hand.
1,200. Pass.
Well, it's 1,200 back to Rahm, who's only got just over 6,000 in chips. If he raises, it could be all in.
Pass.
Wow.
Incredible.
Psychic poker from Rahm. Absolutely unbelievable. He felt the strength of Muntz's cards. How did he know?
Simon Muntz from Germany, he was the dark horse on this table, and now you could see how he value betted in the beginning. His hands doubled quickly up, and when he started steaming over the table and giving pressure to the others, collecting the blinds, he's playing perfect. I think it's a big, big surprise for everyone.
I'm afraid that's got to go down as one of the plays of the tournament, Vicky.
Mats Rahm of Sweden is the short stack. He does a great job of keeping himself out of trouble, although he hasn't yet shown an aggressive strain. Once again, we see John Kabbaj limping on the small blind.
Check.
Well, Rahm absolutely disguising the strength of his hand here.
Ooh, that is the danger of the check from Rahm. Kabbaj has overtaken him to make 2 tens. 3 tens now, and a flush draw for Rahm. This pot's going to take off.
It's 400.
What a beautiful card for John Kabbaj to see on the turn.
Raises to 1,000.
He's prepared to take a chance here with his three kings.
Cool.
It's a good flat call. Rahm wants to catch that flush. He's missed it. Can he get away?
Check.
Yeah.
Check. 10.
Well, interesting check from Kabbaj. He may have thought he was out-kicked. Maybe he fancied Rahm had something like a 10-jack.
I think John Kabbaj would prefer to check and call in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, Rahm did well to just call on the turn so the pot didn't get too expensive. That could have been a nasty skirmish. Mats Rahm of Sweden is below his starting stack now. He's only got 4,500 in chips. And he really is going to want to increase that stack to give Sweden the chance of acquiring 16 points. Horrible for him, though, to have that huge chip leader lurking behind him, Muntz.
Well, I think Muntz is going to make this a little bit more expensive.
Raise to 900. Raises up to 9.
Well, just 3 times the big blind, and Rahm, who's already got...
All in.
Oh, great move, bad timing.
Well, I don't know. I think Muntz is going to give this up. I think Rahm has shown such strength. The limp and the all-in re-raise.
Well, he's got him so well covered. He can take a shot.
Whatever happens, what a gutsy play from the Swede.
It's going to cost about just under 4,000 more for Muntz.
I call.
Call, says Muntz, and sees immediately in Rahm's face
4 diamonds.
that the Swede is not happy with his 2 cards.
Showdown, please.
It's even better for Muntz than he could dare to hope.
Germany shows pocket 7s.
He found a fantastic play, but Muntz had just too big a hand to put it down.
Ace,
Whoa.
queen,
Flush draw.
diamonds.
A diamond would give Rahm the flush now.
Sweden is a flush draw. Needs a diamond to stay in the tournament. Let's see the turn. Check of clubs. No
He's
help.
missed it there. Only a diamond now to keep Sweden at the table. No! And Sweden, for the first time, not coming second in a heat. And what great news for Germany, guaranteed at least 11 points tonight.
I'm pretty satisfied with my performance, even though I got knocked out. The game was really fast in the beginning and people pushing all over, so I just sat back and waited. I think the German guy has been playing really good. He's catching good cards and betting in the right situations, and he's probably the favorite now since he's chip leader too.
So, not for the first time in international sport, Britain meets Germany. Which way is this one going to go, Barney?
Well, I wouldn't like to bet on that because there's a lot of play in these chips, and John Kabbaj, very, very experienced player. But so far, Muntz, he pretty well hasn't put a foot wrong, Vicky. You've got to make him a decent favourite.
I have to say, this Muntz is no coward. So many players would gratefully accept a free flop with King 6, but he is not doing it. He takes the limp as weakness, and he's raising.
Facing a raise out of position, John Kabbaj has got a decision here, and if he calls yet again, this is a display of great poker instincts by Kabbaj, and if it comes an ace, Muntz might just hang himself here. Well, this is absolutely perfect. Muntz may well feel he has to represent this. John might not be convinced when Muntz bets that he's in front, but heads up. You have to figure he didn't call with this hand to put it down on this flop. What's he going to do? Just push it in, Vicky?
All in.
Yeah.
Raise all in.
And that is the end of that.
Once again, Muntz caught with his fingers in the cookie jar. He's going to have to give it up.
But really, it was great play by Muntz, to raise out of the big blind with his hand, follow through with a bet on the flop. But he's up against a very, very canny player.
Yeah, this is just great poker from both of them. Bravely, Muntz raised without a hand when he sensed a bit of weakness from Kabbaj.
John Kabbaj knows now that he's in front.
Yeah, the German captain, Michael Kiner, must be terrified that this is going to slip away from Germany.
They still do have a decent chip lead. Muntz showed himself to be absolutely unflappable. This is a fascinating heads-up match.
John Kabbaj has chipped and chipped away at the lead of Germany's Simon Muntz. And it's by doing exactly this, isn't it, Barney? Calling and letting the guy raise.
Yeah, once again, John Kabbaj disguising his ace. We know he's not going to pass this.
John Kabbaj has called this bet with a massive hand. And with top pair for Simon Muntz, I think it's going to be very hard for him not to put a lot of chips into the pot. We could see the chip lead going the other way.
If John Kabbaj raises Muntz's bet, Muntz might read John Kabbaj for a draw.
1600.
This is a massive flop for Great Britain.
I think really John Kabbaj needs to raise this one.
Call.
Well, no, he's playing the long game. Well, if Muntz was in front on the flop, he may very likely feel he's in front still.
Yeah, I think Kabbaj was maybe trying to represent the draw himself, hoping that Muntz will bet again if a blank comes. It's done that. How much will the German invest?
Well, what might have helped Muntz a little bit is he's got no kicker with his jack, but he's pressing away, and this is time surely for the raise now.
Short of a jack or a 7 coming on the end, Great Britain is going to be taking the chip lead after this. In comes the minimum raise, very crafty.
John Kabbaj attempting to extract the absolute maximum from the German. Very, very hard for Muntz to put this down, although he must strongly suspect he's behind now.
I can't see Muntz throwing this hand away. I really can't.
Well, it's only 2,000 more.
I'm all in.
Oh, John Kabbaj has played him absolutely perfectly.
And it's an immediate call from Kabbaj, absolutely fearless. And in this enormous pot, unless a jack or a 7 comes down on the end, Britain is going to take a massive chip lead and leave Germany literally decimated.
We have aces for Great Britain.
A jack or a 7 would still knock Kabbaj out. But no! And with that, John Kabbaj of Great Britain, the defending champions who have won the first 2 heats already, takes a chip lead of 26,000 to 4,000. Tragedy for the Germans. We're heads up in this heat of the PartyPoker Poker Nations Cup.
Well, these two players have both got off to fantastic starts in the heat. Both played very, very strong poker throughout.
Simon Muntz bravely fighting back, having lost the chip lead, but he's all in. John Kabbaj has called.
John Kabbaj has had the edge all along in this heads-up battle.
9-8 is the on-in hand for Germany. Ace-9, the hand for Great Britain.
And only an 8 will keep Germany at this table. A flying performance from Muntz since the beginning. But will he fall at the last?
Put a 7 out there
Let's
excite everything.
Oh. Well, an ace now would still win it for Great Britain.
This is 7. Germany doubles up.
Amazing turn of events.
Well, John Kabbaj, who's really had the edge over the German player throughout this heads-up battle, must be really feeling incredibly unfortunate to have relinquished that huge chip lead. And it's game on again, Vicky.
Blinds are up to 400, 800. John Kabbaj of Great Britain has the chip advantage.
Call. Check.
Well, an 8 on the flop would sort the sheep from the goats.
Muntz is playing the Kabbaj way now.
I think Muntz has got to like that flop, doesn't he?
800.
Yeah, if he was winning before the flop, he's probably winning still. I don't think he's going to get... Well...
Very flary raise from John Kabbaj.
He's doing a Muntz on Muntz. And if Muntz reads him as a flush draw here, with the hands that are out there, this pot has got extraordinarily deep. I think Kabbaj, don't you think he's going to give this one up, Vicky?
Check.
Well, it's difficult to bet again. I mean, he's seen Muntz bet out and call a raise. It looks like a big hand. Oh, well, that makes life easier for Muntz, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and it's Kabbaj is finding this last bet a little bit too late.
Now, he's got to be careful because there's a big pot out there.
He's very, very unfortunate, Kabbaj. He's made a very flary move on the flop.
Well, that is a big bet he's made, 5,000. All Muntz is thinking about is whether to call or raise.
Well, no, I don't think Muntz can raise here because John Kabbaj can have a 10. You know, he's not entirely convinced he's in front, but he has to call it.
Yeah. And once again, the chip lead is going to swing back in a big way. Huge pot with more than $17,000 in it. Wings over towards the German side. And a big chip lead again for the teenage online whiz kid. Simon Muntz of Germany, having regained the chip lead, has found a very nice hand. I'm sure a raise is coming.
Yes, it is, and he's been raising with a lot of hands, so John Kabbaj's got no way of knowing the strength of Muntz's cards here. And with King-Queen, it's minimum call here, Vicky.
16 more, yeah?
16 more.
He was seriously considering the raise there. And here it is.
Yep, he has moved all in, and I think Muntz is going to think about it and call.
I call.
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 Muntz knows the strength of an ace-10. He's got a decent chip lead. He can take a shot at John.
King, queen.
And he'll be delighted with what he sees.
10.
Well, there's not so much in it. Muntz has got to stay in front.
Up comes 9.
No
8,
help
5.
for Britain.
No help for Great Britain. Germany in the lead with ace high. Great Britain
An
needs a
ace
king or a queen.
or a 10 would guarantee it. A king or a queen would keep Britain
Or a
alive. Only a king
River
or a
cards.
queen. And that's it. Germany takes its first victory. Second place for the UK. Still big leaders on the points ladder, but fantastic news for Germany and a tonic for their captain.
I let him run over me a little bit, which I didn't mind. Let him think that he was in control, but I was trying to feel him and I was starting to work him out. But once I beat him in a couple of pots, he was very nervous. I suddenly felt I had him. But obviously, can't beat Lady Luck.
Table went totally different as I expected because Matt and Jennifer, which I expect to be good, went out very early because of bad luck and bad situation. And I got a double up very early and this was pretty good for me. Got a bit lucky, but you have to be lucky in such a tournament.
So Germany take a badly needed 16 points, 11 to the UK, and this time it was Denmark who just got 1. Moving to the overall leaderboard, Great Britain still with a huge points lead on 43, Sweden on 29, but the real story is Germany soaring from last place into third. Holland and Denmark follow, and it's the United States currently trailing in last place. Can anyone catch Britain now? Good night.
Coming up next, split-second decisions, guts, and a little bit of madness helps. Supercross from Belfast. Free sports on 4.